In today's video, I'm gonna show you how you can morph shapes, and at the same time, we're gonna add a little bit of bounce to this. That morphing effect has been going viral like crazy, especially for UI animations. I believe the original creator who started this is Sudok's original, so big shout out to him. He's got crazy work. With that being said, I'm gonna take you straight to Adobe After Effects and show you how you can also stand out with these types of animations. Let's get it. Alright, so we're back in the software. I'm just gonna show you the comp settings. 1920 by 1080, I'm gonna hit OK. And the only thing I prepared for today is Apple logo, so I'm gonna drop it onto the timeline. And you can literally find it on the internet, it's everywhere. Let me just resize it so it's somehow like that. And then I'm gonna zoom in so we can see the entire shape very clearly. And with that layer selected, I'm gonna head over to the layer and I'm gonna click Auto Trace. And now as you can notice, we got these lines that will help us to create a mask. Actually 2 masks, one for this shape and the other one for that shape. So what I would do here is make sure that the tolerance is not too low. So in this occasion, I'm gonna set it to 4. So that way the mask will be made with fewer points. Because otherwise, let me just show you, if we set it to 1, I'm gonna hit OK. You can notice that we got plenty of points and we don't really want that. So I'm gonna hit Ctrl Z and I'm gonna do the procedure again. So I'm gonna go to Layer, Auto Trace. And instead of the tolerance set at 1, I'm gonna set it at 4. So you would literally need to find a sweet spot for your particular shape, depending on what you're working with. You can also change the channel. Usually something I pick is red. But in this particular occasion where we got white and black, I'm gonna use luminance. Then I'm gonna hit OK. And as you can notice, we got fewer points, which is really good. Alright, so if we go to our image and we hit M on the keyboard, you're gonna notice 2 masks. And we also have keyframes. Our interest for now is the second mask over here, which is the green one. So what I'm gonna do is go to the rounded rectangle tool, and we're just gonna create a shape in a similar size to the apple. I'm gonna recenter and I'm gonna probably change the roundness. Alright, seems to be good. Then we're gonna head over to the rectangle and I'm gonna right click rectangle path 1 and I'm gonna convert it to Bezier path. That way, if we open it up, we're able to set a keyframe for the path. So now we're gonna take our time indicator and move it forward. And now this is important. We're gonna select this particular keyframe, which is responsible for the apple, the bigger part of the apple, and I'm gonna hit Ctrl C. Then you can literally click on that keyframe and just paste it over here. Let me just remove it real quick. I'm gonna put it to the side. And we play it back, you're gonna notice the morphing effect, which is looking absolutely horrible at this moment, but we'll fix it. By the way, quick info, you can sign up for my email list and you will get some free assets. Link in the description. The thing that I found that works the best for morphing is setting the right vertex. What is the vertex? Vertex is basically the biggest point on the mask. So I'm just gonna show you real quick. I'm gonna select the first keyframe. And as you can notice, that point over here is the biggest out of all of these. Then take a closer look at this point when it travels. You can notice that it goes up and to the right. And our goal is to have that vertex in a very similar location in the first shape and in the second one. So what I would do here is probably go to this particular point. I'm gonna right click, go to mask and shape path, and I'm gonna set first vertex. That way, this point became the biggest. So now it looks even worse, but we're gonna set the first vertex also in the second shape. So now what we need to do is make sure that the time indicator is on the second keyframe. I'm gonna select it, and I'm gonna go to that particular point. I'm gonna right click, mask and shape path, and set first vertex. Sometimes you might be lucky and it's gonna look good, and sometimes it's just gonna look horrible, like in this case, but that's where Illustrator comes in handy. So what I'm gonna do here is select that keyframe over here. I'm gonna hit Ctrl C and I'm gonna head over to the Illustrator. So just make sure to open it up and I'm gonna hit Ctrl V. And as you can notice, our apple is right now in the Illustrator. So what we need to do is go to Object, Compound Path, and Make. Now I'm gonna select it again, hit Ctrl C, and I'm gonna go back to AE, and I'm gonna select that keyframe and paste it instead of this one. We can hit Ctrl T just to adjust the position. And now it looks way better. I actually found that tutorial with the Illustrator on YouTube and I'm gonna show you the picture over here. If you want more detailed analysis, just head over there. Alright, in my opinion, it looks already way better. But now what I would like to do is have that apple actually a bit smaller. So for this, I'm gonna select that keyframe, I'm gonna hit Ctrl T, and we can go to the corner, grab it, and then I'm gonna hold Ctrl and Shift, and I'm gonna scale it down. Alright, a bit better. Just as I'm looking at this, I feel like I'm gonna put it a bit upwards. The next thing we want to do is easy, it's the keyframes, so I'm gonna select both of them and I'm gonna hit F9. Let's head over to the graph editor and we're just gonna make sure to squeeze the peak in the middle. Just like so. Maybe like that. Way better. already looks really nice. And if we turn on the motion blur, it's gonna be even better. So basically when you're morphing the shapes, there's just a lot of playing around with the first vertex, or what you could do is, for example, adding some keyframes. So if I add one here, it might look a little bit better, or worse. Might be better actually. Yeah. So that's how it's looking, and before. Yeah, that was kind of delayed over here. Yeah, so sometimes just adding a few keyframes here and there might help a little bit. Alright, so this part is actually done, looks pretty cool. If your morphing effect is kind of harsh, what you could do to kind of cover it is just shorten the distance between keyframes. When it's faster, it's less visible. But in our case, it's looking pretty cool. Let me just show you the example of setting the vertex in a different place. So if I select that one and we go over to the newly created point and we right click, go to mask and shape path and set first vertex, then it's gonna look like that. But we can also change the first vertex in that particular shape. So I'm just gonna set it to this one. Let's see. Looks a little bit different, but also pretty cool. So it's all about looking for the sweet spot. I think I actually prefer the previous one. So I'm gonna hit Ctrl Z twice. Alright, so what we're gonna do as for the second thing is actually adding a little bit of shake. So I'm gonna move these keyframes forward, and then what we're gonna do is hold Shift, click S, and I'm gonna set a keyframe for scale. Then I'm gonna move it forward, let's say by 3-4 frames. Then I'm gonna uncheck constraint proportions, and we're gonna change Y to 0. So that's what we have so far. And now the magical component that will make it bouncy is adding an expression. So for this, I'm gonna hold Alt, click the stopwatch, and I'm gonna hit Ctrl V. And now you can do the same, you just need to head over to the description or to the comment and copy that expression I left for you. So that way with the expression, it's gonna be bouncy, which is pretty cool. You can adjust the settings if you want. You got the amplitude over here. So we, let's say, bump it up to, I don't know, 25, 0.25, it's gonna be way more intense. Then if we head over to the frequency, it's just gonna bounce more times. So for example, if we set it to 10, it's gonna be like that. Then decay is kind of like how long it's gonna last. So if we set it to, let's say 1, it's gonna go on for a bit, as you can notice. Just adjust it accordingly to what you want to achieve. Then what we're gonna do is create a text, which is gonna be called apple. I'm gonna recenter, make sure it's in the middle, and then I'm gonna hit S for apple. Then I'm gonna hit S for shape layer, and I'm gonna parent the scale over here. So that way it's just gonna follow the scale, which is pretty cool. Then what we want to do for the apple is hit T, and I'm gonna hit the stopwatch. Then when the morphing effect is happening, I wanna fade it away, just like so. It's pretty cool, but as I'm looking at this, I feel like we can go to the second keyframe here, and I'm just gonna move it a bit towards the right. It's all about tweaking the details. But we also need the second shape for the apple. So for this, what I'm gonna do is uncheck shy icon. Let's use this layer. And what I'm gonna do is actually delete the second mask. We don't really need it anymore. And we can create another shape. It doesn't really matter which one. And I'm gonna do pretty much the same procedure. Just to make it clear for you, I'm gonna hide these layers. Open up rectangle 1, right click, go to convert to Bezier path. We're gonna open it up, set a keyframe, copy that keyframe over here and paste it instead of this one, just like that. We can delete that layer, it's not necessary anymore. And what we need to do is basically adjust the size. All right, starts to look accurate. We can actually delete that keyframe over here, it's not really needed. And I'm gonna bring back the other layers. So now an important thing I would like to do over here is setting the anchor point in the right position. So for this, I'm gonna hit Y and I'm gonna drag it over here. You can hold Control and it will snap. So that's where is the anchor point. And now if we play around with the rotation, it's gonna look like that. So what we want to do here is basically set a keyframe for rotation, move back and change the rotation to a negative number. Something like that should do. All right, let's see the whole animation. We can actually trim the layer to the first keyframe. So I'm just gonna quickly do that. And we're gonna borrow the expression from here. So I'm gonna open it up, hit Ctrl C, then Alt click the stopwatch for rotation and paste it over here. So here as well, we're gonna get that bouncy effect. Starts to look pretty cool. Obviously we need to turn on the motion blur for all of them. And to me, it looks absolutely amazing already. So here you got the final effect. It's extremely smooth and I highly recommend to use it. It's gonna add a lot of spice to your videos. Also make sure to sign up for my email list. You will get some free assets. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up here and I will see you in the next one. Cheers guys.